Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today I'm reviewing Mayfair Witches, episode 6, entitled Transference, coming to you from AMC, streaming on AMC Plus. So, what did I think about it? And should you be watching? Before we get into the review, get down there, hit the like button on this video. Well, it seems Lasher's got his hooks in quite deep into Rowan. When she accepted that key, and she went through the whole little possession thing and everything, and making a deal with Lasher. Which, of course, can you make a deal with the demon or whatever the hell he is that comes out in your favor? But she does have Ciprien on her side and some seeming protections of magic, or does she? Because he seems to be able to really, Lasher seems to be able to get in there and really play with her. And he's enticing her with, being able to control, fire and do all sorts of other fun stuff. But it's clear to Ciprien that this could be a problem. And I'm going to assume Ciprien might be a problem for Lasher. But Ciprien's also got the Talon Mask on his side. So he goes to investigate the key that binds Lasher. Meanwhile, Rowan is sick of this junk from Lasher and wants to get rid of him. So she turns to her family members to see about a ritual to bind him to another member of the family. In the meantime, also, there's these crazy witch, anti-woman witch people that are, have influenced the coroner, the person that works at the coroner, to steal the heart of Deirdre Mayfair. And, for whatever, I guess they're going to do something with it. I don't know. But definitely there's some shenanigans going on with Tessa Mayfair, who's noticing these people that are kind of gathering, and there's, modern day witch burnings, as she comes to think. And it leads her to make a rather stupid decision, especially after she gets she gets a pretty big power up in the form of being the new designee. So all that stuff happened in this episode, and of course, beyond that, Ciprien finds out a lot more about Lasher in the first Mayfair, in the Mayfair line, and let's just say there's some demonic stuff going on. It was, it's a pretty good episode, actually. One thing I like about this show is it actually gets better every episode. It's still hella slow. Now let's not beat around the bush. There's an awful lot of slow conversations and, taking the sweet time to make something happen. Even though I will say that whole ritual thing, the circle of Mayfair women was really cool. And Rowan sort of not really believing in. I mean, she believes because obviously she sees Lasher. But then kind of getting into that little chant, the Latin chant, to summon the demon. I thought that was all pretty cool, really well presented. I like the kind of the tableau of it. You see this circle of women, of the Mayfair women, and I think I've said this before, but it's so interesting to me that the Mayfairs fully embrace all the women in their line. So it's not, there's black Mayfairs, there's, white Mayfairs, there's people, all colors in between. And there seems to be no hierarchy that says one, is better than the other or anything like that. They're not just like some weird bastard branch, but they're actually in there. I find that very interesting, for the Mayfairs to be like that. And then, in fact, Cortland turns to his cousin, who is a black woman, and she's very knowledgeable. She understands the magic and all of the rituals and everything, and it kind of gives us some insight on Cortland's father, Julian, who was a male designee, at least for a short while. And I thought that was a good little bit of revelation about their family line. But an awful lot of this episode that's extremely interesting is Ciprien basically witnessing the witch, the first witch in the Mayfair line getting, getting caught and about to be thrown into a river to see if she floats or whatever, and calling on, calling the Latin words, and Lasher coming to help, and then basically burn down the town and everything. I thought that was extremely interesting. I really like that. I want to see more of that. To be honest, it's a little more interesting than the whole, just sort of walking around and walking around New Orleans, sort of saying, what's going on with my inheritance and what's going on with this house or whatever. It's a little more interesting than that, and also that that Ciprien kind of is in some kind of mortal danger, being stuck in a dream that Lasher had some control over. So it suggests that, and I was like, did Lasher in the past see Ciprien watching, or was this Lasher that's in the key like a genie that kind of attacked him? I can't be not rightly sure. Then again, there was this whole anti-witch shenanigans. This big old crowd of people talking about uppity women essentially, and blaming whenever if a woman gets murdered, it's because she's a witch or witchcraft or whatever. They got a mad on for witchcraft or something, which is, I mean, par for the course. It's the South. It's religious people, picking out whatever reason they can to just like be misogynistic. Okay, got it. The coroner being kind of a dick and taking the heart, but even more importantly, as we see it, that Tessa, the younger Mayfair, becomes the new designee, or appears to be the new designee, and being led into a trap, which I assume they're gonna try to burn her as a witch or something. It's crazy stuff, because I'll have to say, this asks you to believe something about America that even I, as pessimistic as I can be about the state of affairs culturally and politically, find it hard to believe that you're just gonna burn somebody as a witch. Like, is that what's going down right now? I mean, I suppose. I mean, I guess it could happen. But a Mayfair of all people, like one of the richest and most influential families, and you're gonna choose her and not some random, I don't know, prostitute or whatever, that you can actually get away with it? Seems suspect. But we shall see. We know Tessa's in a tight spot. She not necessarily doesn't have Lasher on her side, and Ciprien's stuck in his own head. So, and Rowan's just kind of trying to figure out what's going on, but clearly Lasher's not done with her. So overall, really like this episode. Glad to see where it's going, and I hope they pick up the pace a bit. But we'll see. I mean, they have a few episodes left. I'm not sure how they're going to close out the first book, but I remain optimistic. So anyway, those are my thoughts about this episode. What do you guys think about it? What do you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or @supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the channel, helps more people to see these videos. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me. Come back next week for episode 7 of Mayfair Witches. Until then, I've been Mo They Poupée, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.